How's the theme go? No, that's X-Men.
How does our thing go?
Yeah.
Next intro, you know it. Hello, you're here with T.
And Matthew.
And we are the Bing Zang Zoom podcast. Yeah, so for those of you that are looking at some of the video, you might notice that we've got these beautiful shirts on right now. Okay, these beautiful shirts that say Bing Zang Zoom on them. Right? I got to come up a little bit so you can see the bottom, show people problems. But
you
yeah,
didn't even see what I was doing.
Oh, what? Nah, right on the Zang. Right on the Zang.
Now you know why we use that name.
Bing. Alright, so go and get yourself some of these. All you gotta do is message us. We'll get them to you if you want to. Holler.
What's the price? Are we charging for them?
Oh yeah, we're definitely charging for them.
You said we'd give it to them if they message us.
Yeah. If you message us, then
and send us $500.
Yeah, $500 at minimum. Okay, we got.
If you want a tip, that's
Hey, that's up to you. What kind of tip?
Just the tip.
Just. All right. I'm not saying that Matthew's out here giving just a tip. Okay, I'm giving 0 tip.
This episode's already gone off the rails. What else can we throw in that'll get us in trouble?
Oh, man. Well, let's see. What we got? Well,
speaking of backlash. Speaking of backlash, the Final Fantasy VII Demo came out recently.
Yeah.
So we're very short distance away from the Final Fantasy VII remake finally coming out after freaking 40,000 years.
Matthew has gone through 7 bids waiting for this.
7?
Oh, okay.
Hell of a lot more than that.
Oh,
it's actually like, if you consider the PlayStation 3 demo trailer as like the first announcement for this, which it wasn't, but if we count it from that, it's like what, 15 years since then? That was 2005.
Woo.
So that's a lot more than 7 beers.
Yeah, 7 just sounded like a good number, so I just went with that. But
Final Fantasy 7 beers.
7 days. Yeah.
Well, they released a demo of the game that you could download and you could play for free. And there's been a bit of backlash by a particular gaming website that I will not plug because,
No plugs.
No, I just don't want to. But there's been some backlash about it. They were like, we've been waiting for this game for so long, and it's a mess. There's too many different kinds of gameplay, and just the demo alone, you had to do 7 or 8 different kinds of gameplay in it. I don't know how to beat the boss. This is ridiculous. Sounds like to me you're just bad at the video game, but
this could be a possibility. I mean, when you pick up the sticks, sometimes things don't go your way. You got to spend a little time trying to figure out how to play. What's the issue here, bro? It's Final Fantasy. You just try to play it. Did they switch things around too much, controls wise, or is it just mainly based upon the complaint based upon the story?
Well, the complaint,
and
control. So basically, the original Final Fantasy VII was an active turn-based system, right? So it was turn-based, but you only had so long to choose your moves, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Where the new one's going to be hack and slash, so sort of like Zelda or Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy 15. But apparently there's like oh, well, this is the main way that you do it, but then you get into this boss, and this one's only hurt by magic, so you have to use your magic spell.
Right.
And then you get into this one, and it attacks you, so you have to run and hide behind this thing when it does this attack, and then you jump out, and it's like, to me, that just sounds like a standard video game.
It's a strategy.
You know?
Like, you have to figure things out. What did I mean, if you said this one, the controls would be hack and slash, right?
Right, hack and slash,
So
yeah.
pretty simple as far as the controls.
Yeah.
But you just have to strategize in order to beat bosses and to pass certain levels.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically, yeah.
If you don't, I don't get it.
I mean, there's not really a point in playing a game if you only just have to hit the X button over and over.
I'm really good at this game. I can press X all day.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of people who were saying like, oh, I don't know, I found it pretty easy. It was a short demo. I mean, it wasn't made to be super challenging. It's the first boss in the game.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, this particular video game magazine was like, or website or whatever you want to say, was just like, oh, it's so hard, it's so ridiculous. They throw too many things at you, and there's been all these people coming out of the woodworks since then that's been like, oh, I agree because you said it, now I agree.
Well, if that is the case, and let's play devil's advocate for a second, right? Let's say that the game it is too difficult. You know, are they at the point where they're going to go back and rehash the game because a couple of people couldn't get past a certain board?
I mean, heck, they do that after games are released nowadays with patches and stuff.
Hey, let's patch the game, make it easier for the people who are not capable of playing the game that we put out originally.
You know, and that's the thing is DLC.
What mode were they playing on? Like, what mode?
I don't know.
It's too hard. What difficulty was it? Extra hard. But that's why it's called that. Don't put it on extra hard and then complain.
Yeah, I mean, we're from the time that we're recording this, we're less than a month till it's released. Probably by the time this comes out, we'll be just a couple of weeks away from release.
Yeah.
So it's too late for them to change anything on the disc. But
right.
Again, they change things after release all the time with patches.
Make
and
a whole
nowadays.
different game.
Yeah.
Via the patch.
DLCs. Remember back
Especially
in the
with
days,
how much space it takes up to download the things.
Right. Remember back in the days when you had to like unlock things by like going on missions and stuff. Now it's like, oh yeah, I unlocked this ultimate weapon. It cost me $3.
Right. Right. Yeah. Very true. You know, when you go and you unlock stuff. In the past, when you unlock stuff, like you just had to play the game, beat a mission. Now it's like, so if you want to unlock the golden sword, guess what? That's going to be $5, please. DLCs are now the
achievements,
paid,
the previous,
paid unlockables.
Yep, that's all they are. It's paid unlockables. There's also, which I'm not sure has been 100% confirmed, but there's also been a lot of talk that this is only going to be about 1/3 of the Final Fantasy VII story. So that, where the original game was on 3 discs, but all 3 discs came in one package. You just had to swap them out. That with the new game, that it's only going to be the first third of the story, and then they're going to do Final Fantasy VII Remake 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake Chapter 3, etc., etc. Which, again, we've waited 15 years or whatever for this game at this point, so it's like, oh, well, we have to wait, 15 years for part 2.
There you go.
15 years for part 3.
15 years apart.
PlayStation 20. PlayStation 20 will finally get the end of the game.
When we can get ourselves into the game, basically, there's no longer a controller. You are the controller. You just put on the motion capture suit and play the game.
That's pretty much Final Fantasy will finally finish. But it's funny too because like Kingdom Hearts 3. If you consider Kingdom Hearts 2 to be the last one, and we've been waiting for that time. 14 years it took Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out. Final Fantasy Versus 13, which later became 15, was 12 years?
Yeah.
So Square Enix...
From the time that they said that they were going to start doing it.
Yeah. Not from
it's not like they just made it and think about this idea. No, they said we're going to do it, and then...
Or, a test trailer came out.
Right,
or you finish the last game and there's that little teaser at the end of it that makes you think that another one's coming. Those types of things.
That's the thing that, you're not going to appease everybody.
Yeah.
And so for them to make a game that, as long as it appeases the majority and, the core fans, that's what matters most. If you can keep your core taken care of, then you'll be all right.
Square Enix has also been doing this thing lately where DLC is through buying other products. So like with Final Fantasy Dissidia, they did this ramen noodle thing. So if you buy like all the ramen noodles with the characters on it, then you get a DLC character. Which, by the way, I tried and it didn't work for me. They like told me my code was inactive, so I don't know.
Just got a whole bunch.
No,
of
yeah, I
noodles.
did. I got like all these things of ramen noodles, and then I type in the code, and they're like, "Code is not active." I'm like, "Screw you guys." But apparently, with Final Fantasy VII, they're doing some DLC. I don't know the exact specifics of it, so I don't know like if it's just a costume or what it is. But they're doing some DLC with Butterfingers. So if you buy like 10 Butterfingers, then you send in the receipts, and then you get a code.
That makes sense.
What is even going on anymore?
I mean, in terms of the different sources like of income. For example, if those things, if they weren't ramen noodles and Butterfingers, if it was, in a cereal box, they've been doing it for longer, so that was a little bit more understandable just because of it's been being done. I can imagine the first time somebody looked at a cereal box and didn't just say cereal on it, and it had like you can get this and take it to the post office and do that. I don't know, whatever. But like, I'm sure it was weird then, but now that's commonplace. So maybe they're just trying to do that with some other items.
But the difference there is with the cereal boxes and stuff. It'd be like, oh, send it in and you get a Green Lantern ring or whatever. It'd be like, oh yeah, there's something cool that I just want, but I don't have to have it. But if it's already part of a game that you've already paid for, that they just didn't release in the game because they want you to buy these candy bars to ship in to get it, it's like... So you made it at the same time you were making the game, and then just held it back, so I'd have to buy something else to have to get that part.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Hey, what other ways can we capitalize? So the game is cool, but let's maximize the profit from the game, and get people buying ramen noodles and candy bars.
Basically. So let's follow up on. We put out on our Facebook. We also have a Facebook group. We have the Facebook page and we have the Facebook group. Yeah. And on the Facebook group...
A little bit more personal on the Facebook group.
Yeah, and we're on there. You can interact with us. We post polls to see, what people think about certain topics. And a few weeks ago, we talked about the what was it called?
Oh, the Vag-Fume.
The Vag-Fume.
Yes. So Erykah Badu's perfume that she is making... basically from the smell of her, to resemble the smell of her private parts.
So we put up a poll and asked if people would buy that.
Yes.
The answer was overwhelmingly no.
Now the poll said no, right? But in the news, people have been buying this stuff, man. People have been buying the Vag-Fume. Now, I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just...
Lonely men.
right. Or maybe it was bought up by a game company that wants to release a DLC for the game, and they say, hey, buy the Vag-Fume, then you get the other parts of the game.
You know what this is kind of reminding me of? Do you know who Belle Delphine is?
No.
Okay, so Belle Delphine is this. She was a model on like Snapchat, Instagram. All those. Not like an actual model, but one of those types of models, social influencer model. Right. And she started making TikToks and Vines and YouTube videos and stuff, and she got this amazing following. So she kind of became a bit of a. What the heck is going on out there?
All right.
Construction. She kind of became a bit of a troll, and so she started making like funny videos or things like she realizes that she's attractive, so a lot of her fan base likes her for those reasons, and she kind of capitalizes on that. And a while back, she had this thing where she was like, she's English, by the way, so I'm going to do an English accent. She's like, hey, gamer boys, do you want your gamer girl bathwater? So she started selling her bathwater and selling it on the internet. And it made her so much money. And this dude bought a thing of the bathwater and then and then tested it, and there was absolutely zero human DNA in it, which means it wasn't even her bathwater. She just like filled it up from her sink and added like a tiny bit of soap.
Well, I mean, maximize your profit. Bathwater? Really? You're buying somebody's bathwater? Like, hey, look, do what you do. No harm, no foul on the girl. I mean, you get what you pay for, bro.
But this Vag-Fume thing is kind of reminding me a little bit of that, which I can't believe I didn't make that connection before now. So I love Belle Delphine, not because, I mean, she is incredibly attractive and stuff, but I just love her sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like, she does all these things, and it's so, like, you know that she's capitalizing on this stuff, and it's hilarious to me. She's like, if I get 1 million followers or whatever it was, I'll start a Pornhub account. And she did, and all of her videos was like Belle Delphine stroking her cock, and it's just her playing with a chicken, and like all this stuff. It's like, this is the best.
That's what's up. So
she puts PewDiePie inside of me, and she eats a picture of him. Or
wow.
Like she is.
That's what's up. She sounds like she knows what she's doing business wise, but also having a little bit of fun with it, and that's what it's about, man. Do something that you love. But to cut it short real quick, what Matthew is saying here is, will you marry him? I'll ask for him. So
by all means, if Belle Delphine would have me, I would jump on that in a heartbeat.
Maybe she'll make a video having you.
That'll go on the Pornhub website.
Here is Matthew.
It's just a picture of him, picture me in her hand.
Right.
But yeah, you got to wonder if people are actually buying the perfume because my phone is ringing. If people are actually buying the perfume because they want it, or because it's Belle Delphine, huh?
That's it. She called right away.
We're not even live. This is going up in a week.
This is wow.
But yeah, you got to wonder if people are buying it because they actually like the smell of their perfume, or if they're just like, this would be funny, or if they're actually just some weirdos out there that's just like, I want to know what it smells like.
I think that some people want to know what it smells like, but other people they're definitely about that life. They want to wear it. They want to wear it out. If Erykah Badu co-signs it. And not only does she co-sign it, like she co-DNAs it. This is it, okay? This is what it smells like. Yeah. And I'm replicating that in a bottle of perfume. I need to know what it smells like now. I gotta go and spray a little bit of the Vag-Fume. And I'm sorry, I say that because I have not researched the actual name, so... so not actually Erykah Badu's poom. I just need to smell what this scent is,
and if it's fume.
Right, the fume, not the poom, but the fume. Okay, got to be specific on that one.
So let's we've got these two subjects kind of go together. So start off with them. Yeah. So we got Goldbergs.
Yeah,
it's a show on. It's about a Jewish family during the 80s.
But so this one is Goldberg winning the Universal Championship.
Whoopi.
Right? Now, not Whoopi. That would be interesting though. If she won the Universal Championship, we would all be rejoicing. Finally, Whoopi won the big one. She did it. After all her hard work in the ring.
See, you guys think that these conversations are so organic, and they are, but we practice those jokes before recording this subject.
Well, so with Bill Goldberg, let me be more specific.
Okay.
Bill Goldberg has been wrestling since, at least he's been well known since about 97. Maybe late 96, 97 to now. So Goldberg is about 53, 54, something like that. He just won the Universal Championship, but he is in tip-top condition. He is in great shape, and, nothing against Bill Goldberg because he can still pretty much go.
Right.
And do what he does anyways. He's probably not having a long, drawn-out 30-minute match, but he goes out there, knock him down, pick up the win type of matches.
Well, so much of that is about the spectacle anyway.
Right,
Like, who needs a, 30-minute...
Right. And
it's entertaining.
Gives it that Tyson feel, that Mike Tyson feel.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's going to get knocked out. Somebody's going to get finished quick. But the person that he took it from has been doing really well. He took it from The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Now, Bray Wyatt, he's been A+ with his work for a while now, since about 2014. And so, he had gone away for a little while, came back with the Fiend character, and was doing really well with that. And he'll still continue. I don't think that he needs the belt, but the fact that he didn't get him run all the way to WrestleMania is kind of deflating, because his character was so great. But nonetheless, if you're gonna have somebody come in, snatch the title from Fiend, where the way he was booked, it wasn't looking like that was gonna happen from anybody on the roster. Currently, gonna have to have somebody come in and do it that wasn't already on the roster or actively wrestling. And guess what? Who better than Goldberg to come out and do it? Now, my opinion is, yes, I feel bad for Bray. On the flip side, Goldberg is now, he's been the Universal Champion twice. He's been the World Heavyweight Champion. He's
been the champion of our hearts.
He's been the champion, right? He's been WCW champion. So he's got some accolades now in terms of world titles. But, I just want to see where it goes from here. I think that they kind of got scared coming close to WrestleMania, and they wanted to get a big name in there that a lot of people knew, and Goldberg is that big name.
Sure, I mean, if he's been wrestling for 96, you said?
Yeah, since 90s, but late 96, 97.
Late 90s?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Of course it's a name that people, the fans would know.
Right.
And it's always,
on the same level he's been wrestling, too.
And stuff, yeah.
He's been wrestling on the same level, world championship level, the entire time, his entire career.
No lows.
Yep.
What about other things in wrestling? Anything else going on?
Well, you got Goldberg in WWE winning the Universal Championship,
right?
And then you also have Jon Moxley in AEW. He took the belt.
All Elite Wrestling.
That's right. He took the belt from Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was the first AEW champion, and rightfully so. Again, big name, everybody knows him,
right.
But he is definitely fully for AEW in terms of their growth, even though his character that he portrays doesn't care about anything except Chris Jericho. I feel like that's a pinch of him.
So he's a heel?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely a heel. But Jon Moxley, he came into AEW kind of heelish, but I don't think he's as
Billy Hillish.
No, I don't think he's as easily defined, like as a heel or a face. I think he just goes out, beats people up, beats whoever is in front of him.
Sure.
And but he deserves it, man. After he had a tough run in WWE, especially towards the later part, he was disgruntled with his position. They were making him do silly things that he didn't want to do and kind of portray a character that he was not comfortable portraying. So with that being said, he went to AEW and he's been doing well. He's the champion over there now. All Elite Wrestling champion.
I mean, sometimes in
Jon
life,
Moxley.
that's the way it goes. Like, you could be at a company and just not doing very well, and you switch to another company, and it's, it just clicks.
And it depends on what matters for you, too, because it can be that, yes, the WWE is the most well-known professional wrestling company in the world.
Sure.
But are they doing what's best for you?
Right.
Are they getting you to where you need to be? He went there, he got recognition, he got what he could get from WWE, and they'll do the same with him. They're gonna get what they can get from you, and then if you don't have any more to produce, then they're not gonna. You don't have a storyline anymore. You don't have TV time. None of that. So you end up on the back burner, and so he wasn't with that. He said he has way more to give, which he does, and he gave it to AEW instead, and now he's making them money.
And people grow differently, and I'm using this as a metaphor, so don't take it literally. But, some people grow up and down, some people grow left and right, some people grow sideways, whatever, right? So just because you're with a particular company and you're not growing there, sometimes you put you in a different box that goes a different direction.
Absolutely.
And you can absolutely go out that way. Yeah. So good for him. Good for him for making making his name a little bit bigger.
He's over there blooming.
Over there blooming. I almost made a political joke, but we're going to leave that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we like to talk about movies, and we like to talk about superheroes. Oh, yeah. And a few weeks ago, we talked a little bit about Superman, and what made Superman special, and that kind of got me on a tangent about the character of All Might, who's from My Hero Academia.
Yes.
So the new My Hero Academia movie has come out, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. It's the second movie, because it's a TV show and a manga, Japanese comic book. And so I saw it. I saw the movie. I did. I seen it.
Captured with the eyes. Okay? Seen it. Got a definition. It's a word.
Look it up on Urban Dictionary.
Facts.
So we wanted to give you a very quick review of that. It was good. I enjoyed it. I think that whenever you're adapting a series into a movie, it's always a weird thing because you want it to expand on the series, you want it to please the fans, but you also want it to be loose enough that people who aren't fans can go see it and still know what's going on. Yeah. But at the same time, you want to create a really good story, but then you don't want it to affect the overarching story of the show because if it does, then it screws everything up.
You lose your cool.
Right, and things like Pokemon, the first movie back in the 90s or early 2000s, whatever it was, did a very good job of that. Right, I thought the first My Hero Academia movie did a very good job of that. This one, I think, had some issues. For one thing, there was a lot of recapping the show, which is fine. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page. But they would recap like the main plot points, but then they'd have like a little character's idiosyncrasy, but then not explain that. But then that ends up being like a major plot point of like why they can't fight later on. It's like, well, you didn't explain like why this character does that.
Is that what the meetings are for? Like, you kind of, when you're going over what the story is, you kind of have a meeting about this. Like, hey, you have a meeting to ask the questions that people might ask if they go and they see the movie.
Sure, exactly. So what the series is about, My Hero Academia as a series, is it's supposed to be a little while into the future. They never specify how much, but seemingly a couple hundred years into the future. But society hasn't really advanced that far forward because...
Like now?
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be like the world's pretty similar to how it is right now. Because within the next generation or so, people start developing superpowers. And that causes the world to fall into chaos because, there's super villains start to arise and stuff. So the world sets up that you could be a professional superhero. It's a job that you can do. At this point in the timeline, about 80% of the world has superpowers. So only about 20% of people don't, and most of the 20% are older people who are born, right? So very few kids are born without superpowers. It's very, very rare. And so the story follows Izuku Midoriya, or Deku, defenseless Deku, who is a young boy who was born without superpowers and desperately wants to be a superhero.
Always straightforward with it.
Yeah.
Defenseless.
Well, the name's a little... It's still Deku in Japanese, but there's some cultural things there that didn't translate quite well, so that's where they came up with it. Defenseless Izuku Deku. But so he wants to be a superhero, but he doesn't have any superpowers. And he ends up meeting the world's greatest superhero, All Might, who ends up taking him under his wing and making him be able to be a professional superhero. And so the movie, he goes to a school for superheroes, basically like superhero college, except it's high school. And so the movie's taking place during one of their summer vacations where they're doing more or less summer school. And they have their provisional license. They could be superheroes, but the first time that they're letting the kids go out and do things on their own, they're putting them on this little island with a super small community. Nothing bad ever happens there. And, of course, the week that something bad happens.
Right.
And so a lot of this movie is about the heroes figuring out, like, well, we're still learning. We're still kids. How do we, do this when there's villains here? Which is fine, but you needed to have a bigger action sequence at the beginning with the professional heroes. Because that happens in the show all the time. It's like, oh, the professional heroes are on this level, and the kids are only on this level.
That's for comparison.
Right, yeah. And so for the movie, there was only one scene with the professional heroes, and they kind of don't do super well. So it doesn't really, have that kind of comparison there. Yeah. So I think that's something that really needed to be changed. There was some character choices that I didn't like. Overall, I thought it was a good movie. But if you like My Hero Academia, I think you'll like the first movie better. If you don't know My Hero Academia, definitely start with the series first before watching either one of the movies. And again, I think you'll still like the first movie better. The first movie also gets a lot more into All Might's history, and we get to see him more as an actual hero. And that's kind of what made the movie for me. But yeah, I think that... I think that the movie was good, but it wasn't as good as the first one or as good as the series.
But do you feel like it was a good takeaway overall in terms of like something to maybe hold it over until it gets to the third installment? Or you feel like there is going to be a third installment?
I don't know if there will be a third installment. I think that depends on how well the series does. The current season has actually been really, really popular. Yeah. Like the current season has been one of the most popular seasons of the show, from my understanding. That being said, though, it's starting to change because as the kids are getting better with their powers, the story's going to end up having to be a little bit different, right? And they're doing a lot of the same things where, like, Deku, because he's a teenager, right? Where he wants to be a hero and he wants to be inspiring, and he'll find some little kid who's defenseless and have to save the little kid. And they kind of rehash that in the movie where he finds these two kids and has to save them. It's like, okay, getting a bit repetitive here. Yeah, so if they do a third movie, they definitely have to do something entirely different. Right. So much of the show is based around, never give up, follow your dreams, do what you want. A friend of mine described it as workout motivation, the superhero show. It's just like, you just watch it and you're just like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym now.
For real. Well, speaking of movies, really quick, I did go and we talked about this. We discussed this when you saw it, but Sonic, I did see that.
Oh, okay.
And so I can agree it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Definitely kept me up, and it has some stuff you might want to stay all the way until after the
halfway through the credits.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So what do you think of the concept of My Hero Academia? Do you think it would make a good show? Do you think the movies would just be something to watch?
Well, to me, it sounds like it's really reminds me of John Cena. It's like if John Cena was anime, that would be it.
Well, a lot of people want. They're talking about making a live action movie by Lionsgate. I think it's Lionsgate. A lot of people have been talking about that they want John Cena to play All Might, the number one hero of that world.
There you go.
There's been a lot of talk about John Cena as All Might. There's been some talks about the Rock as All Might as well.
All right, the Rock is cool, but I feel like he's going to play other characters. Yeah. He's supposed to play
Black Adam.
Black Adam in DC. Yeah. And so, really quick. Somebody was thinking about doing a crossover. Oh yeah, so Christian Bale is coming over to play a villain in a Marvel movie.
Allegedly, that hasn't been 100% confirmed.
Oh, okay, that hasn't been confirmed. Okay, all right.
But there's talks of that. Yeah. There's talks of that.
So that's interesting because he's coming from the DC realm. So potentially.
I mean, there was also talks that Henry Cavill might be leaving Superman to play Wolverine.
I could see that happening too. Dang.
Yeah.
A lot going on there, DC. A lot going on there.
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago too.
Yeah.
Still don't know how I feel about all that. But yeah, John Cena. He's I think he would make a good All Might. Yeah, I mean the show is really inspiring, and it's like I said, it's about, like, oh, well, he couldn't be a superhero because he didn't have any powers. And, but then the number one hero in the world, took him under his wing and revealed how he got his powers through special circumstances. And he was defenseless when he was a kid, too.
I mean, that's perfect for John Cena.
Yeah.
That is John Cena's movie. If he doesn't audition for the part, he's silly. And if he doesn't get the part, then whoever the hiring, the casting director is on track. Because that sounds like him. Now, as far as All Might, does he kind of operate like John Cena a little bit? Is he like the stern, like big guy type?
All Might is
what is his
that
character?
Might get a little bit into spoilers. So All Might does have, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. He was the number one hero, but he got hurt, so now he can only do hero work for a certain amount of the day. So a lot of it is a show, but he says whenever you're scared, just smile through it, because then it makes everyone around you. And his catchphrase is, "It's fine now. Do you know why? Because I am here."
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. Look, that's John Cena all the way. I wonder if John Cena watched a little bit of this. He probably did. But, with the never give up message and all of his Make-A-Wish things, I think I'm pretty sure, could be wrong, I'm pretty sure John Cena has the most wishes fulfilled with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So, we're looking at pictures of John Cena
looking like All Might.
What do you look like? Yep. I mean, he already looks like All Might. He looks like, what's your last name? John All Might. Okay? The guy's huge, man. He's big.
It's gigantic.
Yep.
Speaking of gigantic, we've...
big things.
Big things. The answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Yes.
It's 42.
The number 42.
Number 42. So, in case you guys don't know...
Where does that come from?
That comes from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a series of books and then made into a movie. Mm-hmm. And one of the plot points is that they have this machine that the whole time is trying to decipher what the answer to life, the universe, and everything is. And what it comes up with is the number 42.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about, there's no news in this. If you guys know the story, you already know the story. We were talking about this the other day, and we thought it was an interesting thing to bring up on the podcast.
But if you don't know, listen in.
No, still, if you know it, listen in, because we're going to offer a different perspective.
Facts.
So why 42? And you could say, it's just a joke. It's a comedy series. Right. Like, well, you don't need an answer. And that's a legitimate take on it.
Yeah.
But...
Random number,
right? But it's a machine that came up with the answer 42 as the life, universe, and everything. Now, there's binary code, of course, which is zeros and ones. But when you're programming, like C++ and all of those, if you have a blank space that you don't know what you're going to put in there yet, you put a 42, meaning that you can make it into whatever you want later on. So for a machine to answer that the life, universe, and everything is 42 would mean that the answer is a blank space that you can make whatever you want. So in other words, the meaning of the universe is what you make it.
That's right.